Hi there, my name's Andy Evers. I'm the Families, Youth and Children's Ministry Leader at Dronfield Baptist Church, but also I'm the chairperson of Life Dronfield Charitable Incorporated Organisation. And you might be sat there going, what is Life Dronfield? Well, I grew up down south, moved up from Brighton and taught as a teacher on the Arbourthorne estate in Sheffield for many, many years. Me and my family have been in Dronfield for 13 years. And about 11 years ago, I felt God put a real vision on my heart for his community, specifically in Dronfield. And for those who don't go into the church, and one of the key verses in that was about us as church going out. And the reality was, actually, as church, I didn't feel we went out much. And I prayed and thought through, and God just planted this tiny little mustard seed that has grown and grown and grown into a vision for a community space, a space where we as church can be out in our community, where our community come in and meet with us as church, and then get questioning about who we are and what we're about and why we're the way we are. But I feel really strongly that God's church is God's church. It doesn't matter how big your building is. It doesn't matter what musical instruments you use. It doesn't matter how great your social media is. That actually in God's eyes, he loves us all and he wants to bless us all. And my real passion is that we work as church. So with this vision for a community space where our community could come, I felt really strongly that it needed to be all 13 churches that run in and around Dronfield. We've got churches together in this town. And all 13 churches came together and backed the vision. And that has taken a long, long time. But 5 years ago, we had a team who had been meeting for many, many years. And 5 years ago, we went prayer walking because we didn't have a building and we wanted to have a place that our community could come to. And we engaged with the Anglican Church in Dronfield, and they were just so unbelievably supportive and up for what we were doing. So we'd agreed to purchase the building from them. I needed an architect as a trusteeship. We'd spent a month praying. I went to Soul Survivor with my youth group, grabbed a coffee and randomly bumped into a guy who was an architect who was based in Hillsborough, who had family in Dronfield and knew the building, and he wanted to get involved and support us. And he did. And we find ourselves 6 months ago, we had planning permission granted for the parish church halls in Dronfield. And we've got an amazing vision, but we needed some money. And we were praying about where we could get some money in. And we were let down. We thought we'd get some money from an organisation, and that didn't come through. And we spent 3 weeks praying and going, okay, God, what do we do? What do we do? And I had a chance meeting with someone, and speak to me and I'll tell you more about this, but I had a chance meeting. In the same way I had a chance meeting with our architect, I met someone in a coffee shop in the middle of the Peak District and started talking to them about Jesus, and they knew the Lord too. And within 24 hours, they offered to buy the building for us. A huge, huge blessing and just a complete and utter God moment. God had put that person there. And there are numerous other things that had gone on around that meeting with that person. And it's led to many, many brilliant things so far and brilliant things in the future. And it led to actually the parish church saying they didn't really want to sell us the building. They'd rather lease it to us. A much better deal for us. We get it for free, but we have money to renovate. So we find ourselves now coming towards the end of 2021. We've got the keys to a building. I'm in there working once a week. We will be signing the lease and getting the building, getting building work beginning in there in Easter. We're going to be able to love and bless our community. Our community are going to come into a place where we as church just love them. And then as they find out about Jesus and they find out about us and they want to know more, then we send them out to churches. We're not about starting new churches. We're not about reinventing the wheel. We are so fortunate in our town that we have 13 churches that worship the same Lord in many different ways. And there's places that everyone in our community can feel part of. So therefore, we will send people into our churches. We want to see our churches built up. We want to see our people in our churches equipped. We want to see our community loved. So we're passionate about working together. And my prayer for you is that if God has put a vision on your heart, if God has given you that little seed, then water it and plant it and nurture it and watch it grow. And I've had people just a month ago say, Andy, this is amazing. We were thinking 8 or 9 years ago, you needed to have given up. You needed to have put it down. I said, no. Moses was a young guy when he ran away. And he was a very old guy, well into his 80s when he came back. God spent 50, 60 odd years working on Moses and getting him ready to do these things. And God has done that with us. It's maybe not been that long, but we've been persistent. We've trusted the Lord and been persistent. I have a team around me made up of Christians from across the churches in our town who are there, and when the battle is getting tough, they are holding my right and my left arm up in the air and saying, keep going, and they've supported me. And yeah, I've had so much support from my Christian family here in my own church, but I've had so much support from my Christian family across my town, across my community, and it's growing. It's not just Derbyshire and Dronfield. I've got loads of support from friends in Sheffield, from South Yorkshire, from across the country. So those small little seeds that God has given you, water it, listen to him, grow it, nurture it, but connect with others. And don't just look at your own church, but look at his church. Look wider than just your small church. Look in your town, look across the city, look across Yorkshire, because God plants these small seeds in us, but he wants to see them become mighty oak trees. And the future for me, well, I've got about £400,000 still to raise to get the full vision that God has given me done. But I'm going to keep working at it. A big chunk of that will be done in the coming year. But in the years following, I've got to raise lots more money. But we're going to do this to see people changed. Just this week, we have announced for another year we're going to be producing Christmas hampers that are going to go out to those who are lonely and isolated in our town. And yeah, we're doing it through the churches, but we've also engaged with the NHS and with our district nursing team, who are exceptionally brilliant. And they've said, we've got all these people who are alone this Christmas, and we just want to bless them. So we've announced out on our social media that people need to start dropping stuff off to get these hampers. And we've had someone contact us and say, look, we want to give you £500. And we didn't need that. We didn't expect that, but it's a huge, huge blessing. I just want to encourage you just to step out. If we hadn't stepped out and said, we're doing these Christmas hampers, we don't know where the money's coming from, but we're going to do it. If we hadn't stepped out to do that, the money wouldn't have come in. And we step out in faith, trusting it to God, knowing that these seeds he grows, and knowing that he has got it all in hand. So be blessed. Please come along to Filling Station, where we want to find out about what you're doing, connect you with others, and we want to see your vision. Well, the vision that the Lord has given you, we want to see that grow as well. So thanks for listening to me. And if you want more details, if you just Google Life Dronfield, you'll find out a little bit more about me and about what my trustees and my team are trying to do for the Lord and for his kingdom. Cheers.